The same way they told us young ladies that we ought to protect our treasure box. Yeah, y'all should be protecting your key to the box. hmm And you should only be putting your key into treasure, not trash. But see, my bad. Y'all don't have nobody telling y'all that this the world, that this YouTube tell you it's your thing, do what you want to do, have fun with this one, that one, and that one. And that's why y'all itching, twitching, and snitching and stuff. That's why y'all got simplex 18s running around, because y'all sticking everything instead of stepping back and saying, yeah, the only thing I want to stick my key in is a treasure box. If I can't get treasure, I don't want trash. Hashtag. Let's talk about it. But that's what we have on Little Amor and Mila. My heart goes out to the fathers, to the families, not to this mama. That trifling wench needs to be skewered. Literally. But while we're dealing with these trifling monsters, and we did mention Kelli Bryant, so I wanted us to get into this update. So if you don't know who Kelli Bryant is, Kelli Bryant was a mom out of Michigan, and her landlord went to do a wellness check at the house because she stopped paying rent. And when he walked in the house, this was the condition he found the house in. Now this isn't his video. This is of individuals who went in to clean up after all of this was found. But he saw children hiding under trash. Called the police, come to find out she had left them home alone, just walked away from her children since 2020 or 2021. Now, when this was found out, it was 2025. So we're talking about 4 to 5 years you left your children home alone. So we're going to get into a refresher, and then we're going to check out this update. And this video footage that you're seeing is a walkthrough of the house. So you can see how these kids were living for 4 years, right? The pictures that are the upper left side, that's the bathroom. As you see feces in and out the toilet. They had no working water, working faucets, right? So that's what the bathroom looked like. The picture next to that is the tub. That's what the tub looked like. Because when the toilet got too clogged up and overflowed with feces, they had to start using the tub. So if there's no working water, if there's no toilet water, if there's no tub water, then you have to stop and think about the fact that there's no way for 5 years these children took baths or showers. You see it. This is why I talk about monsters. This is why I tell y'all, fellas, be careful who you sticking your dang-a-lang in. This is why. Because this is what your kids could potentially have to deal with. This. Trifling. She left her kids and went on living her life, clubbing, partying, on Facebook, taking pictures. Guess what? Guess what? She was on Facebook doing videos and pictures doing a food drive. Meanwhile, her kids were at home starving with pizza and with bread and sandwiches. Maybe twice a week when someone would drop off groceries. But you're feeding the community. Meanwhile, your kids have not been outside the house. In 5 years, they have not seen what it is to be outside of the house. They have not put their feet onto the ground outside the house. Her oldest son did one time, they said. So much so their nails were like claws and it was hard for them to walk when they were taking them out the house. I want you to see this, fellas. While you running around thinking it makes you him. Because you able to smash her. Meanwhile, all she care about is getting knocked up so that she can continue to get the benefits about you and make your life a living hell and treat your kids like this just because. But let's continue. Who is Kelli? There we go. Kelli Bryant, also referred to as Kelli Marie Bryant, 34, from Pontiac, Michigan, Oakland County. Hold on, I forgot to loop it, y'all. I'm sorry. Oakland County, was arrested in February 2025 after her 3 children, a 15-year-old boy, a 13-year-old girl, and a 12-year-old girl, were discovered living alone in extreme squalor in a Pontiac apartment condo on Lydia Lane. Now, I need y'all to remember this. If they were 13 and 15 and 12 when they were found, subtract 5 years from that, please. That's how old they were when she left them. Impressionable years. Years where they should still be learning guidance and to-dos and not to-dos and giving direction and learning what love and affection is. They ain't had that. You know what they had? Filth. Trash. No education because they didn't go to school. They had filth. Trash. And it's even more interesting to me because if you look at the picture in the lower left-hand corner, this is a townhouse complex, so they had neighbors. So you mean to tell me with all the neighbors, nobody cared enough to ask questions? Nobody got curious? Everybody said that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm minding the business that pays me. Meanwhile, this is how these children were living. Nobody smelled anything that smelled odd. And you called the city to find out what was wrong. Because can you imagine if you're looking at these pictures with the level of feces in this house? You can just imagine how it smelled, the toxic fumes going through this house and that building, because everything is connected. So the vents are connected and nobody smelled nothing. Nothing. So here's what happened. The children had allegedly been abandoned or left to fend for themselves for approximately 4 years, 20 to 21, either one. Authorities described the conditions as absolute squalor, filthy, vile, and biohazardous, including trash, feces, cobwebs, soiled clothing on the children, and no access to basic hygiene items like toilet paper. So not only were they not able to take a shower, they wasn't even able to wipe their own ass. Think about this. The discovery came after a landlord reported unpaid rent and concerns, leading to a welfare check by the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. I'm sorry, the landlord had them do the welfare check. That's what happened. Correction. Key updates in the case. February 25, she was arrested and charged with child abuse, welfare fraud charges added shortly afterward. Again, where are all the enhancements for this situation? This is another one. You ain't even got to waste your time. I bet you if you handed her over to the right people, she would never do not a nail nutter thing again that looked remotely illegal. See, y'all be wasting taxpayer dollars because why? You left your children. There's no defense for this. You don't need a lawyer. Matter of fact, it should be changed and you don't get a lawyer, because what is your explanation for leaving your children in the house by themselves for 5 years while you go and be a city girl and stun on social media? No, there shouldn't be a case. What is there a case for? Build a place to put this hoe in. March 2025, bond reduced. Why? Why would you reduce her bond? With everything that them babies went through, why? I keep telling y'all, the judicial system is chopped and screwed. It's broken. And I don't know how we ever expect a broken thing to produce whole people. She pleaded welfare fraud bond set to $29,397 personal bond. December 1st, 25, she pleaded no contest to 3 counts of welfare fraud in Oakland County 6th Circuit Court. No sentencing agreement or leniency offered by prosecutors. This does not affect the child abuse charges. January 28th, 26, pre-trial conference. Judge questioned her job search efforts and set dates. Welfare fraud sentencing initially discussed around March 12, 2026, though delayed. I don't understand why that even has to go to court. There was fraud. You was getting money for the kids, but not using it to take care of the kids. You were using it so that you could fund your lifestyle outside of the kids. You were eating lavishly, I'm pretty for sure, while they were eating bread and toast and peanut butter and jelly. February 26th, additional hearing where the judge accused her of delay tactics. She reportedly scoffed at the judge. A second competency evaluation was ordered. Mental health competency concerns raised by her attorney, delaying the child abuse trial. As of latest reports, February to March 26th, child abuse trial postponed. Competency exam to be completed within 90 days. Next pretrial scheduled for May 27, 2026. Welfare fraud sentencing appears pending or delayed, e.g. present tense, Lord, pre-sentence investigation issues noted. Those are the key updates. Now, she pleads no contest to the welfare fraud. So this is Monday, December 1st, Pontiac, Michigan. Kelli Bryant, 34, accused of effectively abandoning her 3 children to live alone for years, pleaded no contest to 3 counts of welfare fraud Monday in 6th Circuit Court. Bryant's plea to all 3 counts as charged was made without any sentencing agreement or offer of leniency. Y'all forgive me if I sound remedial. I don't have on my glasses, so don't do too much, okay? Just give me a little grace tonight, okay? All right. The resolution of welfare fraud charges in no way impacts the case against Kelli Bryant on more serious allegations of child abuse, said Prosecutor McDonald. So she pleads no contest. I don't even understand how that's allowed. How are you allowed to plead no contest on something that you're obviously guilty on? That makes no sense. It's broken. It needs to be fixed. Because how? That's a waste of time. So now we're having court date after court date after court date because now we got to deal with your no contest before we can deal with anything else. Come on now. So I want you to check out and look at this about the job search drama that was just mentioned.
Please be seated, folks. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And then it was scheduled for a final pretrial on the child abuse cases. The files ending in 649. With regard to sentencing, I'm advised that a pre-sentence investigation referral was not made. Has it been made now?
Yes.
Okay.
I promise.
All right. So have we talked to the department about timing?
Yep, we're all set.
You have a sentencing date.
March 12th.
Thank you very much. And that works for everybody?
Yes, Your Honor, we picked it all together.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to expect that I'll have an opportunity to review the PSI. So will you. I'll take additions, corrections, deletions first, and then I'll hear from everybody in terms of the welfare fraud case. With regard to 3 counts of child abuse in the first degree, we have a trial date of March 2nd.
Yes.
Is there any reason why that is not a good date? It's a good date from the court's perspective.
No.
Okay.
So I did email the court separately just to explain why we didn't have an answer as to deviation request yet. So
it was just made, correct?
It was just made,
okay.
And they need some more time, so that's not on them. But I do think I put together a pretty comprehensive, request for the prosecutor's office, which Ms. Ferenczi has promised that they'll consider. So what I would like to do, and we had some further discussions too, because I know there were some statements made before about what was possible and what might not be possible. But we're looking at everything.
Okay.
We're looking at everything. So I would like to, if we could have another final pre-trial, but keep the trial date. If we can't resolve it, then we'll be ready to go to trial. So I'm not asking the court to adjourn anything.
All right, so, and I'm seeing you, but you're not, you'll be ready for trial as well? You don't anticipate issues that would delay that?
No,
If
not at
that's
all.
a good date from the court's perspective?
It is, Your Honor.
And we're counting on it. There's
Yes,
going
Your
to be
Honor.
young victims, I'm assuming, called to testify.
That's right,
So I
Your
want to be really cognizant of getting their testimony timely.
No, and we're very familiar with the case and the facts and what testimony would be, because there's enough, I guess like a companion case, if you will. So there will be no request for adjournments unless,
Okay.
I don't know, something strange happens.
Okay, but nothing anticipated?
No, not at all.
All right, and you have put together a packet or information, you're asking for a deviation
Yes.
in terms of the charge or the
Both,
kilogram,
Your
or
Honor.
what are we doing?
So either or.
Okay.
So there's a request. I don't think it's an unreasonable request.
Okay.
But, if the prosecutor's office cannot entertain a charge reduction, then I did, make an alternative request for a sentencing agreement.
All right, how long realistically do you think your office needs to meaningfully consider that and give a set response?
Yes, Your Honor. We received it yesterday, so I would ask for, if we could get a pretrial date, I don't know if it works for the court schedule or for the court on the schedule, perhaps at least like the last week of February or the week prior, I think we'd be able to have an answer by then.
It would be the last week.
Yeah, let's add it to the last week in February. Let's add it to just the Thursday call. Do you see any reason?
Yes.
Oh, you sure did. Yes, we should. All right, yes. All right, let's pick a date and time that works for everybody who needs access to the proceeding.
Wednesday, February 25th at 1:15.
May I just double check?
Yes, go ahead. Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Canvanda, will you get your eyes on your calendar?
Could we do it at 1:15 as it is? Once again,
Is
that's
that
what
still, is it child death review again?
Yeah.
I hate to miss, that's such important work, and the child death review is one time a month. I left early today.
That's
and I
fine,
don't
Yana.
like to
I'll
do
just
that.
I'll just let them know that I'll be a little bit late.
Could
That's
we,
fine.
I'd appreciate that. I'd
that's
appreciate
fine.
that.
Unless we can do it on the 26th in the afternoon. I don't have anything.
Our crim call's already huge.
Thank you.
Okay,
All right,
that's
crim
fine.
call is huge. It's not going to accommodate it, and I want to make everybody's life workable.
That's fine.
So let's do it on Wednesday. Let's say 1:15. And you said, is that the 25th?
1:15 or 1:30?
1:30.
Okay. Yes. Wednesday, February 25th at 1:30.
So what does that mean in terms of, is it adult treatment court?
Yes, ma'am.
So they've got I'm putting them behind a little bit?
No, you're not. I'm just
Okay.
missing part of the review.
Which judge are you working
Gail.
with? Okay.
It's not a problem. We do the team meeting from 1:30 to 2:30.
Okay.
So I would probably just be missing part of that.
All right,
then
and do
session
they
starts
have
at
written
2:30.
reports that you, I don't want to, I'm not trying to disadvantage anybody, but I don't want to, I left early today and I hate that.
No, it's I participate, but I'm not. They can still review the reports and all
Okay.
that without me there. So there's a whole team. So
All right.
it's not a huge deal. And if there's anything, I can always email them so they have that for notes or whatever. So
Very good.
it's
I
not
will
a
see you for this will be the final pretrial, so anything that you think needs
Yes,
to be
ma'am.
talked about in that date, let's talk about it on February 25th at 1:30. I received a report from pretrial supervision, no issues, that she is compliant in terms of doing the daily supervision check-ins as required. Is she employed?
She's still looking, Your Honor, so she's not getting a response, and she's not getting any callbacks. It's very difficult, and I know all she wants is to have a job. I'm going to be, I speak to her often, so she's still not employed, Your Honor.
There's young people out there getting jobs.
I think the problem is that when they, no. I think the problem is that when she submits the applications, they check into who the person is, and this comes up on a background check. It also comes up if you Google her name. And so I suspect that that's why I will tell the court that the situation where I have clients that can't find employment, the ones who have the hardest time finding employment are the ones who have pending cases, no matter what they are.
I can't fathom an artist is going to say no thank you.
It's because they don't know if somebody's going to become incarcerated. So that's why, and that's my experience for 20 years, Your Honor. She looks for employment every day. There's nothing that she would like more to be out than employed. She's always been employed.
All right. We'll see you February 25th at 1:30. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Court is in recess.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Was she looking for a job when she was on Facebook? When she was doing food drives? when she was stunting in restaurants while her kids was at home? Was she looking for a job then? I don't know. That's my question. But y'all drop in the comments. Y'all excuse me. I'm eating some Sour Patch Kids. Drop in the comments and let me know what you think about this story with the babies in the suitcase, baby Amore and Mila. Let me know what you think about the Kelli Bryant situation. So we're going to be discussing these momsters on today. So recently this story has broken about this mama who has left her 3 children at home for years. We're not talking about a day or 2. We've heard those stories and we're going to cover some of them. We're not talking about a week or 2 like we've seen some of these mamas lately doing, trying to go on vacations and trips. No, this mama left her baby for years. For years. And I'm trying to understand how this situation was able to go this far without anybody recognizing anything. So the first one we're going to talk about, hold on one second, is this story right here of this mother, and she was accused of abandoning 2 of her children, a 12-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son. From September 8th to November 14th, she was found in Mobile, Alabama, and she was awaiting extradition to Montgomery County. So we're going to pull up this story so you can see exactly what happened, because these mothers is out of control. Hold on. It says, mom on the run months after abandoning children in deplorable conditions, police say. And this happened in Roman Forest, Texas. A mother accused of abandoning 2 children months ago is on the loose and apparently entertaining thousands of followers on social media. Police near Houston say Raven Yates left her 12-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son in deplorable conditions with little food. There was no food in the house. Roman Forest Police Chief Stephen Carlisle said everything was empty. There was some dry beans and some spices. Think about it. He said in late September, their mother left them, and there has been a warrant out for her arrest since December. In the meantime, the preteen would call her father, tell him her mother was working, and then he would send food. Why didn't the father go check this out? Why didn't the father go see what was going on? There has to come a point in time where we stop being so distant from what's going on in our kids' lives. I don't care if the mama has custody and you don't. You are still a parent, and you should still be held accountable for what goes on in the life of your kids. You should want to be. There should be nothing going on in the life of your children that you don't know about. That's how connected you should be with your children as a parent. Help me understand how as parents, we care so little about our children that as a mother can just walk away and leave and just go on about her life and leave the children that you gave birth to fend for themselves. I don't understand it. And as a father, how are you so disconnected from your children that you're not trying to figure out what's going on in the home of your children with your children's mother? Sending food isn't enough. These kids need to be upgirded. They need to be led. They need to be directed. They need boundaries. They need standards. They need to know that you care more about them than just dropping off food and dropping off dollars when needed. They need to know that you care enough to know their every move, whether it makes the mama mad or not. Now, if this is one of them situations where he got an ignorant baby mama that's keeping him away from his kids, then you go through the court system. You do something, because these are your children. But police said they found out what was going on from the girl's father. He's reportedly a music producer in California, and family members told him they saw Yates in Alabama, where she's from, without the kids. Excuse me. When he got a call from his ex-mother-in-law, he put 2 and 2 together and called the first plane over here. Carlisle said, okay, I gotta give it to him. Gotta give it to him. I haven't fully read this story all the way through. I like doing this stuff fresh with y'all. But still, you should have known before then. It needs to be consistent. Look at the day and age that we live in the world that we live in. It's predators out here kidnapping kids, doing horrible things to kids. Every time you turn on the news, it's another mother having done something to their child or another family member. That should be enough to make a switch go on in your head to say, yeah, I got this going on over here. But every minute of the day, I need to know that my kids is okay. Period. It shouldn't take being notified of something horrendous possibly going on for you to step up to the plate and get involved. Y'all better start thinking about who y'all laying down with, who y'all procreating with. Didn't BBD tell y'all never trust a big butt and a smile? Y'all be so gung-ho because the body is banging and the girl look good that you don't stop and think about 5 years down the line. If I pop off in her and I don't have, one of them things on, and in 6 weeks she give me a phone call, is this the kind of woman that I want to be the mother of my children? Y'all don't stop and think about that. Then years down the line, this is what you're dealing with. The mother of your kids has abandoned your children, and you don't even know about it. We got to do better. Progressive said, most of the world is caught up in a rat race, time to invest in their true assets nor the future. Every child is an added place to the future, and even deeper, it's a piece of you. That's what I'm saying. I do not understand how you can have a piece of you, something that's blood of your blood, flesh of your flesh, and you're not concerned about what's going on with them every single day. Please. And y'all wonder why I consistently say video after video, our children are in trouble. They are in trouble. Welcome to the show. Champagne because nobody cares enough to care. Every video spark ignite your inner light. Raise a glass to the AK-47 said, I live in Ohio and there's missing children all the time. That's sick and that's sad. Where is the ball being dropped at? Where's the miss? That so many kids are able. You remember back in the day, we used to have neighborhood watch. We used to have big brother, big sister. We used to have a phrase and a saying that it takes a village to raise a child. There was a period of time when the village made sure the kids were safe. Not only did they make sure the kids were safe, they made sure the kids were in line and in order. Wasn't no such thing because mama was at work. You thought because you was a kid, you could go out the house and act a doggone fool, and mama wasn't going to treat you when she got home. Matter of fact, the neighbor wasn't going to treat you when they caught you. But I know, my bad. I know what happened to the neighbors looking after the kids. I know what happened. Don't say nothing to my kids. Don't yell at my kids. Don't say nothing. They're my kids. You can't tell my kids what to do or the other one. I'm grown. You can't tell me what to do with my kids. Life's a canvas painted everywhere. Now look. Through ups and downs, cheers to what's next. We're at a place where babies are being abandoned by their mothers. over and over and over again. I could go to Google and just Google mother abandons her children. Do you know how many articles are going to pop up? This is sick. AK-47 said, I'm on the neighborhood watch. We need to start them in all neighborhoods. Bring them back. People who care that this is our next generation that's disappearing without a trace. There's an elementary school down the street and a high school. Remember sitting down to watch television as a family, ate meals together at the table. Parents back then had time for time. Yeah, they did. Parents back then had time for time. They had time for time. They had time for kids. Kids had respect for parents. These kids these days have no respect for anyone. This is crazy. Hold on, let me get back to it. When he got the call, he put two and two together. Police said Yates, 31, has continued posting on social media despite being wanted in 2 counts of abandoning and endangering a child without intent to return. A 12-year-old cannot take care of a 3-year-old for a long period of time, the chief said. It's dangerous, especially over a month and a half. It's dangerous and irresponsible. As a parent, Yates reportedly also has a 14-year-old daughter who was reported as a runaway around the time she disappeared. All 3 children are now safe and living with another family member. And this is her picture. Just, oh Lord Jesus. So I want y'all to check out this news article. Let me see, do I have it pulled up here? Unravel mysteries, life's own secret load. Step by step, tap in, find your flow. No, you're not going there yet. Hold on. Gonna glow. Unlock the strength within you, watch it bloom. Life's a canvas. Give me 1 second, y'all. Okay. I'm so used to OBS, y'all. I done forgot how to use StreamYard. That's what it is. Okay. All right. I'll do another share screen. All right. Here we go.
This Montgomery County mother accused of abandoning her 2 children was all smiles when she was arrested 3 states away.
Yeah, kind of a bizarre photo there. Well, officers found Raven Yates in Alabama more than 2 months after she vanished.
ABC 13's Brianna Connor is getting new facts on her arrest. And Brianna, what's next for this woman?
Raven Yates still needs to be processed in Mobile, Alabama, before she's brought back here to Montgomery County to face the charges against her. Detectives working this case had been looking for Yates for about 3 months. I'm told law enforcement in Mobile had to break down the bedroom door of an older man's apartment to find her.
The popularity of it got a lot of people interested in it.
Raven Yates gained thousands of followers and has been trending on social media ever since she made headlines for accusations of abandonment. Roman Force police say she left her 12-year-old daughter and 3-year-old son all alone for 2 months. Investigators say they had to fend for themselves with little food or medicine at this house on Maplewood Ridge Drive while Yates lived in Alabama.
I've never seen anything like that, and I've never seen anybody play into the camera and play into the social media as she has.
The entire time, Yates was posting provocative images like these online while fully aware there was a warrant out for her arrest. Roman Forest Police Chief Stephen Carlisle says tips poured in from the public, and that's what eventually led to her arrest in Mobile. This photo capturing Yates in cuffs and seemingly unbothered by the allegations that she put her own children in danger.
She's smiling. How the hell can you smile? So she didn't care at all. So you left your children to fend for themselves. And you just decided you're going to become the America's Next Top Model on social media. You just going to go on about your life like you didn't have children. And when they pick you up, you just smiling, just. The hell what is wrong? I keep asking this question, and if one of y'all can help me, I would really love an answer. When did we get like this? When? There was a period in time where the kids were the most important thing. Wherever you was at, you made sure the kids ate first. You made sure the kids went first. There was a period of time when mothers didn't buy stuff for themselves. They bought for the kids first. When did we get to a place where the kids did not come first? When we got in this era of it's all about the bag and everybody chasing the bag. And I guess kids are a hindrance to that. They gonna hold you back. They gonna hold you down. They gonna keep you from being your greatest self. So let's just abandon them, kick them to the curb, right? Because they don't matter anymore. When did the kids stop mattering this much? We understood the era of the fathers walking away and the fathers not caring. Fathers popping off in women and just discarding them like yesterday's news. That wasn't new, but mamas. And when, back in the day when we had the mamas that would walk away from the kids, they left them with grandmama so they could go and be great. They just abandoning these kids in houses. Yeah, I'm getting so angry.
I think was playing for the camera. She wanted to have a smile. She wanted to look good.
Yates' 12-year-old is with her father, who lives out of state. Police say the child was afraid to tell her dad what was happening at first because she was worried she'd be separated from her brother, who has a different dad. At last check, Yates' other children were safe with relatives while she prepares to head back home now.
We're waiting for her to be extradited back to Montgomery County, and then, of course, we'll be able to interview her and find out her side of the story, and we'll go from there.
If convicted, she could spend 20 years behind bars and away from social media attention. In Montgomery County, I'm Brianna Connor, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
So that was the story of Miss Raven, who was apprehended in Alabama. So I had to show that story before we get to this new. Hold on, I'm glitching. Yeah, my whole interface glitched. The whole thing. I keep y'all. So some of y'all may be new to the channel. But ever since we covered that story, we covered this story on sex robots. The whole fact that the sex industry has elevated and now they're using robots for pleasure. Y'all, ever since then, I haven't been able to do a stream without something going wrong. Now, we've been doing pretty good, and all of a sudden, today, we decided to talk about these mamas, and the whole stream want to start glitching. So, y'all, hold on one second. Now, I got to set it back up. Hold on. There we go. We got our background back. Hold on. Facts, Father Locke. Not you smiling like you at America's Next Top Model. Because what? I mean, your kids ate first before you. Facts, AK-47. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for joining the Champagne Gang and joining us in the chat. We welcome everyone over here. We're friendly. We're all family. This is a safe space. Over here, we don't attack each other. We don't talk about each other. We don't tear each other down. We don't read each other in the comments. We're nice, and I would have it no other way. It is a safe space. And once again, my love, welcome to the Champagne City. Progressive said, this story is so sad. No family asked about their whereabouts. School never inquired about their whereabouts. The kids were failed by so many people on so many levels. Facts, and I don't even understand it. I really don't. That's some weird stuff. Virtual reality. Oh my God! Now another rabbit hole. Another one. Another one. I am trying to tell you. When we did that video on them doggone sex robots, baby, ain't nothing. I got a community guideline strike because I was showing a video of how they made the robots. And of course it was showing, because they was robots. They had breasts and a vagina, but I didn't think it would be violation if it was fake. Apparently, robots have rights. They do. And I violated the robot by showing their goods to the whole world. So because I did that, I haven't been able to have a live go off without a hitch. Just about since then, something goes wrong. The audio goes wrong. The video glitches. Something is off every single time I try to. AK-47 said, when I graduated from college, I got this job, Alden, Indiana, and the job. Well, basically, it was a virtual reality, and it turned out virtually sex. I quit. Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. You know what? Just because they played with me, y'all, we gonna go back and do that video. We are. I ain't scared. We gonna go back and do that video on them sex robots because some of y'all about to be replaced with robots is all I'm trying to say, because they making them talk. They trying to help them teach your kids how to cook, help them with their homework and all kind of stuff. But y'all, that's another story. But back to this heifer right here on the screen. So this young lady right here, was recently found because she decided to leave her children at home. She left them at home, abandoned them, so she could go on and live her life. And it wasn't days. It wasn't even a week like we've heard some of these stories. She abandoned these kids for years. When I tell y'all, hold on a second. Let me see if I got the video. Because I wanted to. Hold on.
Bottle pop, truth drop. Welcome to the show. Champagne
See
secrets,
if
let
this
your
is
power
it.
grow. Every video, spark ignite your inner light. Raise a glass to the future, shining bright.
There we go. I wanted y'all to see these pictures.
Life songs, good love.
This is the house that these children were abandoned in. A 15-year-old boy, a 13-year-old girl, and a 12-year-old girl. So apparently the mother left around 2021. But at the same time, the mom has been weekly taking food to the kids. Now, I have questions. Not only do I have questions, my questions have questions. First of all, if you look at this complex, these units are connected. I was a property manager for over 4 years, and I managed over 350 properties. A lot of them were multi-unit properties, some such as these. There's no way to be in one of these and not smell something that is connected to you, especially if it's been for this long. How? Look at this. Look at the toilet. That's feces running out of that toilet. So they didn't have a working toilet at all. Look at the bathroom. Look at the floor. The sink. Look at the walls. That would lead me to believe that's feces on those walls. I need a lot of people blurring this out. But no, y'all need to see this triflingness. Because some of these mamas out here is trifling. Some of you women are damn trifling. That you would do this to a child. Look at this. This picture on the right here, that's the bathtub. So you got the toilet on the left with feces running out the toilet. That lets you know how clogged up it is. That it's running out and because this is clogged up, probably to the point they can no longer use it. And that's why it's running over. You have the tub that they have began defecating in because they didn't have a functioning toilet. So this would also lead you to understand that they weren't taking showers or baths. Because how are you going to take a bath in a tub full of feces and urine? And she left her children in this condition.
Empowerment. It's the code, we decode, unravel mysteries, life songs, good low, step by step, tap in, find your flow. With champagne secrets, you gonna glow.
Progressive One said Child Protective Services will snatch a child out of a home of a trying parent or parents. Where were they in this? And I'm not for that agency another time on that. But I'm just, here's the problem. Nobody called. I don't understand how and why no family member, no neighbor, no nothing got involved and allowed this to go for this long. Forget the neighbors, right? Just for a second. Let's pretend this was a single family house and there was no neighbors. What about the family? So you're telling me as a family, you don't see your nieces, nephews, cousins, whatever, for years, and you don't ask there's no way in heaven, hell, or beyond I would constantly be seeing my sister or one of my cousins, and I know they got children, and for years, for time, for months, for a week, I'm consistently seeing you, but I don't see your kids and I don't hear you talking about them. I don't see you posting them. And I'm not trying to figure out where my nieces and nephews at? Where my cousins? Have we gotten this detached as a people that we don't care? That this is us. This is us. Hold on one second. This is That ain't got shit to do with me. That ain't got shit to do with me. That ain't got shit to do with me. That ain't got shit. That's us. That's us. It ain't got nothing to do with us. Mind the business that pays you until it's one of yours. Then when it's one of yours, you want the whole world to rally behind you. That's what we do. We don't care until it's us. There's no way I can have children living next to me, and I'm not concerned if I don't hear anything from them. Even when Jeffrey Dahmer was on his rampage in Milwaukee, people was calling the landlord and trying to get the police and everybody involved because there was a strange smell in the building. So y'all telling me there was strange smells next to y'all and y'all wasn't calling people to figure out? Just like we said with Naziah, everybody failed these kids. Especially the school system. You didn't see these kids all of a sudden in school and you questioned nothing. No truancy officer showed up. The police didn't show up. Family didn't show up. Clearly the landlord didn't show up. But we're going to get into the story because I want to drop this link for y'all. So let's go ahead.
Bottle pop, truth drop, welcome to the show. Champagne secrets, let your power grow. Every video spark ignite your inner light. Raise a glass to the future, shining bright. Empowerment is the code we decode. Unravel mysteries, life's own secret load. Step by step, tap in, find your flow. With champagne secrets, you're gonna glow. Unlock the strength within you, watch it bloom. Life's a canvas, painted every room.
At this townhome are very disturbing. When responding deputies arrived to the residence, they found it to be in vile shape. The sheriff's office says they saw mold and human waste throughout, garbage piled as high as 4 feet in some rooms, and an overflowing toilet. Now, I spoke to a woman who lives in the neighborhood and is on the HOA subcommittee for the community, and she told me her phone was blowing up with people expressing shock and sadness today.
Everybody's upset. Everybody's upset about it. Like, oh my God, this is right in our neighborhood. How could something like this happen? These children, how could people go living every day and not see something like this and report it sooner?
So what we know now is that the deputies, when they came here, they found 3 children inside of the townhome, a 15-year-old boy, a 13-year-old girl, and a 12-year-old girl, all siblings. And as, of course, this investigation is ongoing, there are a lot of unanswered questions that need to be answered, like how any neighbor, any of the public schools here in Pontiac, or even Child Protective Services did not know about these kids or do anything about it since at least 2020 or 2021 when the mother supposedly abandoned these kids. So I spoke to Sheriff Michael Bouchard earlier today, and we're going to have more on this story later tonight at CBS Detroit at 11. For now, here in Pontiac, I'm Heath Kalb, CBS News Detroit.
The lasting impacts this situation will have on those kids is just unbelievable. Heath Kalb, thanks for breaking it down for us.
Step by step.
All right, y'all. So check this out. This was an update that came out today. Hold on.
How they're doing and the kinds of things we're asking for on behalf of the kids. So one of the first questions is that what we've heard from a lot of people is where was the dad during this? So to back up a little bit, the father had been incarcerated for a period of time and had no contact with the kids. When he came out, he sought the opportunity to reunite with the kids and actually filed some legal papers in court to try to get visitation and those kinds of things. A consent agreement was arrived at in 2022, but the mother still would not allow him to see the kids. So that's what we've learned so far, at least preliminarily. We're going to go back and double check all these timelines and that kind of information. So he, in essence, had lost contact with the kids. And that's where that stood. So we've had questions about that. The other questions that we've had was who were the other people potentially dropping food at the house other than the mother? So far, again, the investigation is pretty layered and complex given that it's going over years. But it appears those are companies like an Instacart or a DoorDash, things like that. So, so far, none of the people that were coming to the house had any awareness that there were kids inside or the situation in which they were delivering to. Obviously, the question was somebody dropping food off knowing there's kids there? No information at this point leads us to believe that. The kids were forensically interviewed with our partners at Care House. They've already been seen once at McLaren. We intend to have them much more detailed, both physical and mental health kind of checkup, if you will. That will happen hopefully this week. When our detectives saw them at their interview at Care House, they were already making amazing progress, having had some tender love, having had some supportive care, having been put in new clothing and some basic hygiene. The one detective said that the little girl was talking quite a bit. So that's super exciting to see that happening. And as it relates to being in the house, the only one of the 3 that ever came out was the young boy, and he came out twice. Once because he wanted to feel the grass, which by itself is heartbreaking, and a second time to check the mail. So you wouldn't do this to an animal, let alone your child. So, just to hear that he came out to touch the grass is just crushing, soul crushing on so many levels. As it relates to the house, we have obviously released pictures I'll get my technical expert up. You've already seen some of these pictures. I rolled that little mouse, but it didn't want to cooperate. So inside of the home, as I had mentioned with these pictures, trash was piled, in some places 3 and 4 foot high. Everything was covered with feces and trash. The toilet had become non-functional, and the bathtub was filled with feces. That's the kind of situation these poor kids had been living in for years, not just hours or days, for years. And so when you have the complete lack of hygiene, a complete breakdown of basic living conditions that they were subjected to. And to get a little deeper into that, detectives have narrowed down the initial abandonment they believe to be somewhere in the spring to summer of 2020. Obviously, COVID played a little part in the disconnect potentially with schools and school communications. In 2020, the mother dropped off some trash bags, gloves, and Febreze, and that was about the last thing related to hygiene. 2020, in the height of COVID. Okay. Towards the end, the children apparently were getting a loaf of bread dropped off that was intended to last 3 to 4 days. So, obviously on so many levels, the conditions are horrendous and the situation terrible. So what we're trying to do in the meantime, and as it relates specifically to the case.
Y'all couldn't survive off a doggone loaf of bread. Like, what do you mean they were dropping off a loaf of bread for 3? So you telling me in all of this time, these kids ain't even had a decent meal in years? So you had the unmitigated goal to drop off food to your children and not even make well, I shouldn't be shocked. Look at the conditions that they living in. Look how she left them. Well, hold on a second. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to pause that. I'm going to pause that because I need to show y'all something. I need to show y'all something. This is her page. This is her YouTube page. With her butt all out. Mm-hmm. She was just doing a food giveaway. A food. February the 5th, this the 18th. So you've been estranged from your kids, dropping off a loaf of bread for 4 days. But you on Facebook doing a free food giveaway? Bitch, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Press pause. Rewind. But you couldn't take your kids a decent meal? Hold on. Let me see if I got something. I don't know what I said. There's so much going on. Put that in the shed. This one? Yeah. Keep young money. Hi. With your baby still? Yeah. Your baby. You want both of them up? I'm grabbing one of these. And attention and just juice and food. Oh, this one is the doozy. Hey, y'all ever had to fruck and be quiet? I cannot. December 21st. This was right before Christmas. So right before Christmas, you was thinking about getting some pecker and not about your kids. And y'all wonder why I consistently say our kids are in trouble? Thank you, Nisi. I'll post it since I don't want to say it. Because this is
Champagne secrets,
Wow.
power grow. Every video spark ignite.
This brings,
Raise a glass to the future.
this the kind of stuff that will bring real tears to think about. These helpless children. What did she say to them? Were they special needs? We saw how many kids run out the house trying to seek help when they were left by their parents, when they were abandoned. And here you have a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 12-year-old, and neither one of them thought to go get help. Like, what did these kids suffer through that they thought this was it? I don't have nothing else but this. The baby said he wanted to go outside to feel the grass against his feet. At 15, what would make them so scared to go outside? To go knock on a neighbor door? I'm sure they've heard police cars going down the street randomly. To run outside, they wasn't locked in. Y'all, this is sad. I'm getting ready to drop this link because you can't even make me make it make sense. I'm dropping the link. Anybody who wants to come up to discuss this case, you can, what your thoughts are. Because, yeah, I have no more. I have no more words, but I have so many questions. As a landlord, you gotta have law, at least the state I was managing in. When you had a multi-unit building, you were responsible for snow removal. You were also responsible for lawn care. So you trying to tell me that the people who were shoveling the snow or the people who were trimming the lawn, making sure that the lawn was okay, never let you know, hey, you might want to go over there. It smells like something died. Is that what you're telling me? You telling me this landlord never serviced a furnace, an outlet, a light, like you just, nothing went wrong within either this is the most neglectful landlord in the world, or this landlord has some of the most pristine properties known to man. I'm getting ready to let y'all up, Niecy. I've seen your face. The only thing I ask is if you're going to come up and you're backstage, just turn your camera on so that I can see you're an actual person. We don't have time for no porn bombs and all that weird stuff y'all be doing on social media. This ain't even that. Not today. Please, not today. So I'm going to let you up. Anyone who wants to come up and chat, I am dropping a link for you. Oh, there she go. Hey, Niecy, baby.
Hey, baby, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wow, so this what we doing now with the kids now. It's just like they just don't care about kids, period, then, huh? Kids are just here to be dogged out, and this is the new thing, right? Like, just dog your kids out, right?
And if you drop them off at the fire department if you didn't want them.
Or give them to somebody who want a baby. There's a lot of people who want a baby. That is so selfish of these mothers to dog these kids out like this, knowing that it's somebody. That's how it goes to show you how selfish they are to not even want to let these babies be with somebody who's going to do for them, who's going to love them. That's freaking selfish on all levels.
All levels. And they should be locked up and never get out. Can you imagine what these babies are going to go through mentally, spiritually, emotionally behind this?
A lot of them are traumatized, and not only that, they have Stockholm syndrome. A lot of them love their abusers. That's what's so crazy about this abuse that's given out to a lot of these kids. A lot of them have Stockholm syndrome. And that's really sad that they don't even know what love is, that they think that the monster, the mommy dear is love. That's sad, bro. That's sad on all levels.
This is sick. Because these are babies, and the man, he's gonna continue on to hold on, I'll just play it for y'all. He gonna continue on to talk about like some more of the condition they were found in.
The preliminary report has been turned over to the prosecutor. We're adding some more stuff for them. They're in the process of determination. When I heard about this, I called her on the weekend and let her know it was coming, and she has her staff queued up, and they're in that process. As it relates to the kids, the first thing we wanted to do is obviously get them safe and to get them clean and get them enclosed. And I will say we have one of the most generous communities, I think, in the world. We put on there that we needed clothing, and this is just a tiny sample of what we've received. At the office of another office of ours, we have bags and bags. So we
This lets you know that we do have some good people still in the world.
Yes, yes,
So you gotta stop and think about the fact these babies ain't had they ain't had a bath. Do you know how good that hot water probably felt against their skin?
Wow, I'm sitting here flabbergasted.
Just things that we take for granted that these babies had to go without for this longer time, because this trifling ass mama decided to leave her kids because she wanted to go live her best life. She was tired of being responsible.
Yeah, but that's for the moment. That's only for the moment. Then what?
Saying that.
Then after you done got nutted in so many times and probably done had a burger and a couple of wine, that's all. This is what we're doing. While the kids is at home starving, I'm trying to understand that part. Like, I don't get that. There's not that much penis in the world. It can't be. It just cannot. When you can go buy one.
Food drive for others. Food drive for others while your kids at home starving, eating a loaf of bread for 4 days. That's supposed to last. And nobody was nobody was concerned. That's what's getting me. It's the nobody was concerned part for me.
That's me too, because if you in an apartment complex, you mean to tell me don't nobody know? That was living in an apartment complex, Champagne. Why
didn't the family?
I'm outdone. I'm outdone. I'm outdone.
We as a people don't ask enough questions. That's my biggest problem. We don't ask enough questions. We see a grown man walking around with a kid. At this day and age, yes, walk up to him. Hey, sweetie, are you okay? You safe? You good? Because you just never know.
Right. Because when it comes to kids, it ain't no, I didn't hear that, or no. You need to be all in the business when it comes to children and abuse. Okay, like it's time out for, oh, I'm staying out of that. That ain't got nothing to do with me. These are children. These are people who does our future. Okay, they're part of us. Okay, like I just don't understand how anybody could sit there and watch a child just dwindle away in front of their face and don't do nothing.
This is sick. Welcome to the stage, AK-47.
How you doing?
That sound like my favorite gun I like to use in Call of Duty Mobile now.
Exactly. Hello, AK. How are you?
Pretty good. No, I was listening to your channel, and I want to mention I got on Facebook, on the dating, and I met some women, and they were most kind of into tricking, I guess, and they had kids, and I was like, I didn't get involved with them, but I kind of did, because they had kids, and I was like, give them money, and I'm like, no, I don't do that. I was trying to meet some women, but I'm not into that, right? But try to help them out, but they would rather do what they want over their kids. I don't understand. I was saying in the chat, I was brought up in a Christian home, and my parents were foster parents and stuff. Are kids suspendable? It's horrible.
Hold on. I don't don't get it. They using the kids to get money, not something. So, I got kids, so I'm gonna use them on Facebook to get money to trick on Facebook, huh? That's another new hookup.
Here's the other thing that I
it's
don't.
crazy. I mean, I don't.
The other thing I don't understand is a lot of these men who will willingly date a woman that you know have children, and you don't stop to ask not one time, okay, how are the kids? Where the kids at? You don't pay attention to how she takes care of her children. That makes no sense to me, because if this is someone that you're thinking about dating, if you're thinking about procreating with this person and potentially making another human being, wouldn't you want to know how that person is with their current children?
Exactly.
So how can you lay up with a woman and bust in her with no protection, and she already not taking care of her kids? This don't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense.
Just like it's a lot of these men out here who date women who have lost custody of their children, and instead of them asking, how did this happen, or how did you lose custody, they go right along with these women, not knowing that they are the culprits and the reason why the custody is not there. And then you have these women watch your children. Come on now, men, wake up too. Men, y'all gotta wake up on this thing too. When it comes to some of these women.
Facts. Progressive woman.
Because at the end of the day, these kids will be traumatized.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I've been listening to everything that everybody has been sharing. Everything has definitely been insightful. And definitely, I share the same sentiment, the same anger. But it goes on so much of a deeper level because this is a big problem to fix. Now, this is the thing and the difference between my era and possibly some of your era. Our parents raised us with pride. They raised us with hope. They raised us with dreams. But now you have a bunch of hopeless people trying to encourage someone else to hope. So even if we get to the place to where we're able to help the children, if we help the children and we send them back with the same parents who are already providing these type of environments, we still did them a disservice.
Yep.
Unfortunately, a lot of the trouble and the trauma and the danger that kids are facing is not simply in people pulling up in white vans or approaching them on corners. For many of them, they're living under the roof with the greatest monsters that they will ever encounter. And how do we save them?
I might have to mute. My dog's getting jealous. She might.
Thank you for joining us. But
I gotta mute.
here's the thing, progressive one. I absolutely agree with you. And the biggest problem is that people don't get involved. We sit back and it's not our problem until it's our problem. We don't care until we care. And most of the time when we start caring is when it's one of us. When it's the neighbor and when it's with the person across the street, when it's the person around the corner, it's, oh, that's their issue. When it's one of their children that's unalive, it's, oh, I'm so sad. It's so sad that happened. But then when it's one of ours, we want the world to rally behind us and help us make sure our child comes back home safe. But we keep a blind eye for everything else that's going on because it's not our problem. This isn't going to stop until we go back to the village mentality that we once had, where it takes a village to raise a child. Because there's things that you can say to my child that they're going to listen to because it's coming from the outside. That even if I said the same thing because I'm mama, it sounds even more harsh coming from me. So chances are children might not listen because it's coming from mama. But let someone else say the exact same thing, they're going to listen because it's an outside influence. It's not someone on the inside telling you something. It's someone on the outside trying to encourage you. Until we get back to the place where it takes a community, it takes a village, and the community and the village is looking out for the community and the village, this is not going to stop. Because if we had a community that cared about these kids, this would have never happened. The Naziah Harris story would have never happened if there was a community that cared about that baby.
That's right.
All these
That's
young
right.
13-year-olds that we see disappearing would not happen if there was a village that cared about these babies.
That's right.
All we care about is social media. All we care about is the next like, click, and view. All we care about is trying to get to the bag. To hell with who you got to step over or look over to get there. And a lot of times the ones that gets looked over are our babies.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I'll let one of y'all talk because I'm
Well, I just want to say this. If it was guys like Jarvis when I was growing up, you would have got a block beaten. I'm going to just tell you that right now. By the time you made it to the end of the block, you would be beat. We were the police. The hood was the police. You know what I'm saying? My only thing is this. Why have children if you don't want them? You can't. It's crazy for them to say, "Oh, I need income taxes or I need food stamps." There's nothing in the world that you could tell me that you could buy or pay for it to hurt a child the way these people are doing nowadays. When I tell you we living in the Book of Revelations, then I'll be lying to you if I say we wasn't, because this is the Book of Revelations. When I was growing up, a lot of this stuff, occasional kid came up missing here or there. It was what happened to the back of the milk carton. What happened to the missing programs that they used to have about all the kids? It's over 500,000 kids missing nowadays. It ain't no more Facebook dating and all of that. Let that stuff go, because at the end of the day, you never know who you gonna meet. That's why they came up with that show Catfish, because of situations like that. It's too dangerous now. It's not good for anybody to be Facebook dating. I don't care who get mad. It should nobody be dating off no apps.
But here's the thing: we know why. We.
I was showing my dad's Holy Bible.
We know why it's like this, because we have a group of women who feel like the only way to hold on to a man is to have a baby by him. I don't know why we still have this ideology, because that ideology has been disproven time and time again, decade after decade after decade. Yet we still have women who feel like if I trap him with a baby, he's going to be there for 18 years until he's not. And then you're stuck a single mom trying to take care of these kids on your own, and you still want to live your life.
That's exactly. Then the child end up being the one hurt. The child be the main one, end up being hurt.
That's why our parents used to tell us that sex was a grown folk game. Because you got to stop and think about what goes into that, and outside of just a good feel good. This is crazy.
This is beyond crazy. I really do feel like we should have took the blue pill. I swear. We in so much of another dimension that this don't make no sense. We living in a matrix for real. Because this stuff that people are doing nowadays is unbelievable. Stuff we ain't never would have even thought of. I remember us growing up, we used to talk about Bloody Mary, scary this, scary that. This is some stuff you don't even want to try to go to bed to at night.
Bloody Mary, oh my God. Nightmares are made of.
Listen. This is sad. This is scary. This is scary. This ought to make you stop and start asking questions and talking to your family, talking to your kids to make sure these babies are safe and these babies are okay. We are failing our children because nobody cares until they care. I see we got some people in the chat. Listen, I dropped the link if y'all want to come up. We're talking about this mother who, let me see, is this the one? We're talking about this mother who abandoned her children. So if you want to come up and have this discussion with us, you're more than welcome. Keep it respectful.
Didn't parents back in the days used to say riddles that keep you from not wandering in the night in the woods and stuff like that?
They did.
Well, our parents told us that we went on that porch by the time the porch lights came on, we got that ass beat. That was a good enough horror story for me, knowing I'm gonna get my ass whooped. Okay, that is a good enough horror story for me.
You better have.
Okay, and then when they tell you to go get a switch, man, you better not hear it. You better go get a switch, and you better not come back with no little switch either. Those are horror stories to us. Okay.
Oh my lord! Yeah, I had a switch before.
I don't believe
a
it's
couple of
by
them actually.
I don't believe it's by accident that we having these discussions in our own little neck of the world, and these conversations are popping up all around the world. I think the thing is that we have to keep in mind, those of us who has this mind and would encourage others to have this mind, to fight for our children, to fight for our future, to fight for our community. We need to make sure that we don't get obsessed with numbers. We want quality this time around, not quantity. A lot of movements get slowed down because you have too many people, and a lot of the people that's mixed in with the crowd are actually against the crowd, but pretending to be with the crowd, which disrupts the movement. And for whatever reason, people have a hard time with leaving people behind. Dead weight is supposed to be exactly that, dead. So let it go, and you keep pushing for the children, for the future, for yourself.
Man, Wendy said it best.
I
I
couldn't
believe it
say it any
should by our
better.
future. Woo, you said that's the best progressive because at the end of the day, I really do believe that we as a people have lost ourselves. We have because it got to the point now that men are killing whole families. Not only are they killing the mother, they killing the grandmother, the kids. This is out of control at its finest. At its finest. There has to be somewhere that we can come together as a community and be able to stop these type of things that are going on in our community. Too pity too. If you wouldn't be so worried about what Jane and John doing next door, you could be more worried about what's really going on in our society right now. People are worried about the wrong things right now.
And even bigger than that, than the men killing the whole families, kids are killing their whole families.
Yes.
Kids. And they're getting younger and younger. Just taking the entire family out.
You can't depend on YouTube to raise your child. You cannot depend on YouTube. Wow.
This is crazy. I don't, because I'm trying to understand how something like this happens. But let me play some more of this video.
We don't need any more clothing. We greatly appreciate it. The family and the kids greatly appreciate it. And so we're kind of pivoting now to financial support. And we have put up a link, if you will, to the charity Mission Oakland, and 100% of it will go to the kids. Unlike some of the traditional fundraising methodologies you see out there, they take a percentage. 100% of this will go to the kids. What I am asking is, again, our generous viewers and listeners out there and readers, we're looking for a law firm that would set up a trust fund so that we can take 100% of what we receive in donations for these kids and put it in a trust that can be administered, that can take care of maybe their medical bills, mental health visits, and if there's any overage, maybe set some money aside for their future education. This can be a long-term situation, and so we'd like to be able to kind of hand the baton to a trust fund that will manage it in a way that makes sure it's just the kids. Not suggesting anybody else would do anything with it, but we're looking for a mechanism where we can hand this off. So if there's a firm out there that would like to set up a trust fund for these kids, then we'll deposit any receipts that we have in a very short period of time. I think we've already got $15,000 to $20,000 in on our donations. So we're going to, obviously have some real dollars to be able to give these kids, but that won't make up for the 3-4 years that they've been subjected to these conditions.
Wow.
I've said this more than once, but you see those videos of animals in just terrible conditions on commercials, and it pulls you at your heartstrings. Imagine maybe by 10 living in what we showed you, and then play it out over years, not days or weeks. So it's hard to wrap your head around this one. So there's going to be a lot of long-term, I think, mental health education.
I think that really puts a lot of this into perspective when he consistently repeats years, 3 to 4 years. these babies was living like this.
Trauma.
This is why you cannot convince me that the neighbors didn't smell anything. You talking about 3 to 4 years of molded food. You talking about 3 to 4 years of feces and urine smell. First of all, urine when it's left too long starts smelling like ammonia. So you're talking about 3 to 4 years of these babies basically inhaling toxicity. You talking about 3 to 4
Like
years.
biohazard.
Right. Because the
I
girl.
mean, you think about black mold. I mean, you're talking about biohazard. I mean,
3 to 4 years of this.
It's like I was saying earlier. All of these variables for these babies.
Hold on 1 second, y'all. Because somebody in my comments clearly wants my attention. So, you come in my chat and your name is Welfare Office. Okay. And you say, considering no one on YouTube knows me personally, there are a few people that I talk to. And majority of the ones that I communicate with are individuals who frequent my channel and we develop bonds. But you would come to my page, to my channel, and attempt to interrupt my broadcast with bullshit. When anyone who's spoken to me has heard me say that this is a safe space, we don't do toxicity, we don't do garbage, we don't do trash, we don't do negativity, we don't tear each other down, we lift each other up. Everyone who knows anything about this channel knows the secret in Champagne Secrets is empowerment. But don't confuse what I don't do for what I won't do. So you have 1 to 2 options. You can choose to stay and behave accordingly, or you can choose to remove yourself from my chat, from my channel, and from my show. That's your prerogative. The choice is yours. Because unlike you, and a lot of people that you probably associate and deal with, I'm a grown-ass woman, dog. If I got something to say to somebody, I'm not going to hide behind a thumbnail. I'm not going to hide behind a fake name. And I'm not going to hide in the chat. I'm going to do that shit up close and personal. Because that's the kind of chick that I am. So what I'm warning you of, please don't play with me. Don't play with my channel. Don't play with my page. Because I'm about to promise you that you are severely out of your league. Now, I'm addressing this as politely as I can. Because you entered my space, I didn't enter yours. Anything else you want to say? I'm just making sure because you wanted to be so vocal in my chat. And considering the link is in the chat, if you had something to say to me, you could have said it to me, not in the chat. All right, let us continue with our show. Sorry for the minor interruption.
Needs and things that we want to try to help with the family to get to that point. The other thing I'd like to mention, the family is asking, apparently, some of the folks that are now involved with the kids that didn't know, that's another question we've asked, they didn't know what was going on with the kids. They had been told by her that somebody else was babysitting the children or other kinds of things. So they were unaware what was happening so far, according to our investigation. But what they're asking is they feel like they're being hounded by media outlets. So they'd like to get some privacy for their kids and the grandkids and the aunts and those folks want just a little bit of a safe bubble, if you would. So they asked that, which of course we're going to do. Now, on another front, all of us are asking, how the heck did this happen? How did we lose 3 kids? How'd they fall through the system? The community, the relatives, the schools? How did no one know? And the easiest answer we could come up with, and I put on my old legislative hat, and thank heavens we've got a person on our staff that also had worked in the legislature, and we examined the school code, and there's some gaps that we think in part allowed this to happen. And so what we're going to suggest is there needs to be some changes in state law. Right now, basically, there is no specific duty required that is triggered by certain actions. So what I mean by that is a school district, in this case, received a request for records from another school in Pontiac, but no verification the children ever moved to that school. And so at some point, when they didn't show up, they were just dropped off the enrollment of the school that sent the transcripts. So no one knew that they were nowhere. And so what we're proposing, and we're already communicating to a potential bill sponsor, is some amendments to the school code that will close that communication gap so that before a child is unenrolled, they have to obtain written confirmation that child's someplace else. That doesn't happen now. And that's what happened here. It appeared.
Let me tell y'all how I know this is true, right? So, true story. My son, he done graduated. He's in the Air Force now, stationed over in Israel. But his junior year in high school, he was going to school. School year started off fine, everything. So we hit about December. We gonna fast forward. His daddy had to take him to the doctor and told him, okay, I'm gonna drop you off at school afterwards. He takes him to the school. So dad calls me and he like, did you know our son was unenrolled from school? And what do you mean unenrolled? I didn't unenroll him. How he gonna get unenrolled without my permission? Call up to the school. Come to find out, my son had not been to school all year. When I tell y'all, he had got up, he got dressed, got his book bag, left out the house at the normal time. I was at work, so I wasn't at home when he left for school, but I would check on him. You got homework, how was school, what you learned, all this stuff. When I get back home, call up to the school to figure out how exactly did he miss an entire almost semester out of school? And y'all didn't think not one time to pick up the phone and call me to find out why he was not in school. He's been in y'all school system since grade school. Y'all know me. Y'all have my personal cell phone number. Every event y'all have, I'm at it. So how is it that my son has not been in school all year and y'all ain't said nothing? You ain't got to transfer to another school. You ain't got to release a transcripts, nothing. But all of a sudden, my son just stops going to school and there is no concern. There is a problem with our school system. The school system don't care about these babies. They're not watching out for our children. They don't care if your kids graduate or not. Hell, half of the teachers tired. They sick of these kids. I was perplexed, trying to understand how the hell I didn't get a truancy call. Not a truancy officer showed up to the house. I hadn't moved. And their response to me was, well, we sent a notice home with him. Why the hell would you send a notice home with the kid who ain't going to school anyway? You think he's going to
I know that's right.
have we all lost brain cells? Post-pandemic, did COVID wipe out some stuff internally? Did it mess up our internal syntax? Because it's the lack of concern everywhere for me. We no longer care about women. We no longer care about children. We no longer respect marriages. We no longer care about relationships. We no longer care about standards. We no longer care about setting goals.
Morality.
Morality. When you see 12 and 13-year-olds out at 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, we don't care. It lets us know we don't care. My mama and grandma tell me after 2 o'clock ain't nothing over but legs. So why is a 12-year-old out there?
Exactly. Exactly.
When my children would leave my house, guess what? Especially if they left in a car. Yeah, I need a license plate. I need a picture of the car. I need a picture of the license plate just in case you got a number wrong. I need to know who's going to be driving y'all. I need to know I have another phone number just in case I can't reach you. And I would always let my kids know this is more about making sure you're safe than it is about keeping tabs on you.
That's
Not only
right.
that, if something goes wrong, then I know who to send the police after. Not only that, where are you gonna be at? I need an address. My niece, when she was in middle school, she got selected for her school to go on a college tour. They were taking a tour bus. Guess what I did? I met them at the school. I got a picture of the bus. I got a picture of the bus number. I got a picture of the license plate. I got a picture of the bus driver. I got a picture with her and her chaperone. So in case my baby don't, I will show you how to act if a baby don't come back the way they leave.
Mm-hmm.
When did we stop caring? When?
Can I say something?
Go ahead, sweetie.
I was taking my dog on a walk really late at night in my neighborhood, and there was a bunch of kids really late trying to break into a car, and and I spooked him because my dog is black, like she's like a black lab, and my attire was all black, so they didn't really see me until I was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" You know, and they all froze, and they looked at me, and I waved my hand like this. I was like, I stood still and I waved my hand, and they took off, and I went to the people's house where these kids were breaking in the car, and I knocked on the door and said, "You might need to call the cops." But I mean, yeah. Why were these kids like really late? It wasn't even a weekend, you know. And these kids were like breaking into cars, you know. I was a kid at one time, but I mean, where are these kids' parents? I mean,
That was gonna be the question. Where are the parents at? Where's your
I got
your
lost.
child
My dog's just
in the car? Where is that? How you know that you're about to break in somebody's car at that time of night?
It's going to take two things. It's going to take locking down one real solution, and then two, again, dealing with the parents in order to be able to help the children of this world. Because parents back then were strong. My mom and my dad to this day can look at me in a certain way, and I will pause because they were firm, but
you knew it.
But they were strong. They were strong. And this is what changed between one of the things that changed between our eras and the current one was now our parents were raising individuals who, even if may have been but a bit or at a large quantity mischievous or finding yourself, it was within reason. Now you're talking about parents that are literally raising full blown killers that will go out in the street, kill, come back home, eat food, lay down, laugh, and play the game like everything is okay. This is a different stock of children that is being raised, of course, through neglect and through the failure of the community. I'm not taking that from it, but this is a different brand of children who most of which are either young, strung out on drugs, are wrapped up in gang activity, trying to find a better life, or these individuals, again, I say, are stone cold killers. So most of your parents are living in fear. But at the end of the day, if you love your child and you love what came out of you against all odds, you're going to do what you can to save them. And a lot of parents just don't have it in them anymore and don't want to find it. And that's just a harsh reality. So now the question is, what's the solution to be able to fix the problem? Even with what you did, AK, with just in those little moments like that. See, everybody can't carry the big weight, but you carry the weight that's for you. That one little stop possibly saved those boys' lives. Because who's to say that homeowner, when it came out of their house, seeing that car broken into and ended all of their lives? If everybody does their part, don't try to do my part. I won't try to do your part. We do what we can together. We do what we can individually, and hopefully we hit the goal.
Right.
And man, I think what
Yeah, I
you hit the
totally
nail
agree.
on the head is the togetherness.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta learn how to
Mm-hmm.
do stuff together. We gotta learn how to reach out when it gets too much for us.
That's why when I went to that house, I didn't mention to the cops that any of those kids. I didn't point them out, but there was like one of those kids that was running around the neighborhood, and he said, "Hey, thanks for not, ratting on me." And I was like, "Well, you know, um, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I mean, these kids these days, you're right, and I wanna throw this out. As me growing up, like I said, my parents gave me great education and love and everything. But as I grew up and I watched my sister's kids, and like some people, not saying my sister, but they put their kids in front of the TV. That's the babysitter.
Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I totally agree. A lot of people are dependent on YouTube to raise their children. Yes.
And game systems and
Yes.
PlayStations and Xbox, Grand Theft Auto. This is all they're exposed to. So they wonder why they go out and try to imitate what they're exposed to. Where I'm from in the city was the city that started the Kid Boys. Do you know where them boys learn how to drive? Do you know? Take a wild guess. Grand Theft Auto.
Auto.
And the Kid
Yep.
Boys
Yep.
started 12 years old. No, that's wrong. 8 to 10 years old, and these kids can drive cars better than you from playing Grand Theft Auto. We ain't
Yep.
instilling nothing in our kids no more. We don't instill morals and standards. These parents these days let their kids come home with a wad of money and don't ask them where they got it from.
We used to have Boy Scout and Girl Scouts. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they let their kids sell drugs. And they don't care. Do you know why? Because they coming home and they cashing them out. So because they cashing them
Yep.
out, they don't care where the money come from. They don't ask. Kids coming home with a car, driving home with a car that you didn't buy. They ain't got the money to buy, and it ain't yours. We don't question it. We just allow it to happen because we stop caring about our kids. As long as what they're doing is benefiting us, go ahead, baby, have at it. Get to your bag. Come on now. Parents don't care.
Mm-hmm.
We're not in a generation of parents who whole life revolves around their kids. Everything that I did when my kids were younger, my kids did with me. I don't know what it is. I didn't know what it was to celebrate a birthday until I turned 45 years old and I'm 48. Do you know why? Because when I had my first child at 19, I became a mother for real. Everything that I did revolved around making sure my babies were okay. And I gave birth to 4. See, you don't have mothers like that. You don't have mothers that stop thinking about themselves and focus on their children. I'll think about me when my kids are old enough for me to focus on me. But the minute I started having children, it became less about me and more about them. So if I wanted to go celebrate a birthday, guess what I did? My kids went with me. If I wanted to go take a vacation, guess who went with me? My children went with me. If I wanted a getaway, guess who was with me? My kids were with me. Number one, because I didn't trust a whole lot of people with my kids. My baby boy was autistic. He has Asperger's syndrome. So I didn't let my baby stay with a whole lot of people because they wouldn't have understood how to meet his needs and understood what it was that he did need. So as a mother, he was my responsibility. All of that, where was the fathers? It didn't matter. Do you know why it didn't matter? Because the moment I decided to lay down and open my legs, I took a chance. That chance was that nigga may be there and he may not. But it's my responsibility because that baby came out of my body to make sure that child was okay. So all of I want to travel. I want to go to the club. I still want to be young. All that shit went out the window. Do you know why? Because I'm a mama now. My kids came first. The minute I decided to push one out. So no, I don't understand stories like this. It does not compute.
Well, this lady right here, she disregarded all of that champagne and said, "F the kids, F everything. I want to go try to rap and have a man. Forget that I got kids. Forget all that. And I'm gonna take them a loaf of bread every 4 days." What type of shit is that?
You didn't peek in the house to see what the house looked like. You didn't go in the house, make sure the house was clean. You didn't make sure they had clothes. You didn't go in there and make sure they had running water. You didn't make sure they was able to take a shower, a bath, or nothing.
You wasn't even combing their hair. You wasn't combing their hair or nothing. You wasn't sitting down taking out no time with your kids whatsoever. You was a drive-by mama. Where do they do that at?
Teaching your daughter how to groom herself. Teaching your son how to groom himself. You just walked away, locked the door, and didn't look back until you was taking some bags of groceries.
I mean, do people really do see just how this can be so traumatizing to the point where these kids probably don't even know how to feed themselves? These kids probably don't even know how to act in public. These kids you probably have to take out so much time with these kids to even build up trust with them, because the trust been went out the window the third day she probably was gone. Okay. So it's like this, we're not even talking about the aftermath for real, for real. That's the part people forget. Right. This is the part where people just leave the story off at. No, this is a continued process.
And this is why the family is so important. And I heard you use the word Empress education. Now, I do believe that education can happen in the classroom in the confines of its proper context with things here and there. But the education first begins in the home. I learned how to love from home. I learned how to handle money from home. I learned how to take care of myself externally from home. But if home is not okay, if not careful, all of us have had friends that may have grew up in an environment that was not like our own if you grew up in a certain environment. And you looked at them and you just like, well, dang, you like, I'm going home. And they like, well, we out here. You out here. Like, ain't nobody told you to be home when the street light come on?
Oh,
I mean, isn't there a saying, home is where the heart is?
Right. It seems like a lot of people have wandered off from home. A lot of people are. What's the little girl name that the grandma was really the wolf? Little Robin. A lot of them are little Robins. They like to just go on here and hang on in the street. Don't want to listen to what their parents are talking about, and then ends up like Hansel and Gretel. Okay. This is how this is. Yes.
That part. And it's really interesting. Welcome in Three Sides True Crime. Here's the crazy part, right? Because especially with this story, there's his side, her side, and the truth. We need the truth about this story because it's too many layers that's not adding up. How these children were able to fall through the cracks so horrible. So horrible. How? How?
I don't know if people may have thought on the comment that I was possibly like kidding, but I wasn't. I'm so serious. They should do a check on all of the units in that place.
Exactly.
Exactly. You mean to tell me that even from the 3 years worth, you could probably walk past that house and get a whiff of something that is not quite normal. And nobody in that development, winter, spring, summer, fall, Didn't think anything? Nah. Search the whole place.
Because the rent been getting paid. This is what I don't understand. The rent was getting paid. And the utilities were getting paid too because the kids were in there playing electronics. They wouldn't have been able to play electronics with no electricity. So there was no just I don't understand this one. This one don't.
Yeah, they mama's love would have been way more important than that electricity and all that they had going on. Like, ain't no way in the world any of that can work without the parents there, without the parenting. There's no way any of that could even pacify a child without that parent.
Yeah, but this would also mean too that the children like the parent that they had. Now, at any given point in time, because we may have been children, want to do what we want to do. Like, I don't like my parent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, in the moment. But there's some kids out here that literally have a hate and disdain for their parents. But again, you have hopeless people trying to cultivate hope into another person, which is not going to happen. And you're going to run into chaos in situations such as these every time. A hopeless person that was hopeless long before she had the children, and it ended up carrying over.
That's just plain. She ought to be ashamed of her damn self, for real. Like, that is very sickening. I mean, I hope that baby hunts her for the rest of her damn life.
This really ought to make more families start paying attention to what's going on in their families. If this don't make you start making phone calls, where's my cousin? Where's my niece? Where's my nephew? Where's my auntie? Where's my uncle? If this don't make you start asking questions, our problem is much, much bigger than we even know. It is.
Make you want to do a head count in your house every night.
This makes you want to do a head count. And before you go to sleep, make some phone calls and do head counts in other house. Send me a video of my nieces. Send me a picture. Let me know they okay.
And also, again, just to reiterate, I am so very, very serious that we have to get back to the plate of actually being a family. And for anyone who's listening who may not have a traditional family, and your blood family may not be that family environment that you need, it's okay. I submit to you again, family is where you find it. It would be nice in a perfect world for you to be able to find the traditional setting, but for some of us, it will never happen. But be grateful and acknowledge the family that you do have and enjoy with certain people. The family that you have is where you find it. And you know family when you find it. It's not forced. It's not pressed. It's just is what it is. If you got it, cool. If I got it, cool. Whatever the case may be, we're going to do what we have to do to be able to keep each other going forward. That's family. And if anybody in your circle is keeping you from going forward and calling themselves your family, whether it be in the vision to be able to change the world, to be able to help these kids, and they're against it, understand it's not your family, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah.
But there's some people out here that do support you, acknowledge those people, and build with those people. And let the rest be extra and change the world.
I agree with you because
I totally
the
agree.
only way to stop this is somebody has to get involved.
I agree too.
Somebody got to get involved and somebody got to care. I was looking at Facebook, hold on, at all of the people that were talking about and discussing this situation. And there was even some people who knew her. Everybody trying to hold everyone accountable, but the person who the kid was staying with, y'all sick. She is incarcerated. Let me see if I can find those comments. This is sick. Look at this. Look at these pictures. If a picture could say 1,000 words, baby, this one is speaking volumes.
This is just horrible. Plain D horrible.
Can you imagine the smell? And they had to eat in that smell. They had to sleep in that smell. And in this filth. If the bathroom looked like this, can you imagine what the bedrooms look like? what the living room, the dining room, the kitchen. Can you imagine what the rest of the house looks like?
Oh Lord.
This is crazy. But meanwhile, these the kind of pictures she posting online. Them while your children are in these conditions. Hold on, let me go to her page. Maybe it was somebody on her page that said something. Hold on. We gonna cover some more of these monster moms.
I believe that there should be a law passed in every state that every apartment complex should have cameras. And they should be working. Every apartment complex, since they are very tied in with the state and the government, they need to, because here in Michigan, we got a law here that states that every apartment complex has to be 10% low income for a lot of these people who are out here homeless. So I really feel like there should be a law passed that there should be working camera footage in every apartment complex.
Yeah. I agree with what this woman said. My stomach just turned. Lock everybody in hall. Lock up everybody.
I own my own house. I own my own condo, and I had to get permission by the board to put a ring bell on my door. And I was like, you know what? To be honest, I was like, F that. I just installed it, and they actually never said anything to me. So, because I didn't ask them for permission. I have one in my garage too. So.
If they told me I couldn't have no ring doorbell in our apartment complex, even though I still got one anyway, they gonna tell me that you are not allowed to record other visitors anywhere. How? Well, if that's the case, then you gonna tell that to Walmart if it's an apartment complex next door to Walmart? You gonna tell Walmart they can't have one? Come on now. I really feel like we're not trying to be in a neighbor's business. But what if something happened to that neighbor? What's the first thing they gonna ask you? Can we see your camera footage?
That's what
I'm
gonna say.
I'm not down with that. I feel like that's just a little fierce tactic because they try to do that over here to me. Hey, I'm still going to protect me. I'm still going to protect me and my grandkids. Anytime that you put in a sex offender name, a person on the sex offender list, and the whole thing just light up like where you stay at, light up like a Christmas tree. Okay, yes, ma'am. I'm going to have a camera in my hallway.
Wow. I thought they was trying to work on making sure that all the street lights and everything else had cameras on it. At this point, everything needs to be monitored.
Well, it is out here where I stay at, but if you go in the hood ain't got it on every corner. But out here where I stay at, they got it.
You guys ever heard of the term "the hills have eyes"?
Of course, and that's based on a true story. That's based on
eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. All these street cameras, street lights, everything. Hell, stop sign, put a camera on it. They're invading my privacy. No, we're trying to make sure you remain safe because
everybody got a cell phone.
Every time you turn around, somebody is disappearing. Whether it's a man, woman, boy, or girl, somebody is disappearing every time you turn around. If you got a camera everywhere, then you able to track moving. Hell, I watched Person of Interest. I don't know if y'all saw that old show. It was one of my favorites.
Oh yes, that was one of my favorite crime shows. Mm-hmm,
with that supercomputer that had eyes everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? When I wake up, my phone says, "You haven't exercised. You haven't walked enough." I mean, I have a health thing on my phone, and it goes on my computer, and it goes on my tablet, and it goes on my other phone, and you haven't walked enough. I mean, I'm not walking that much because I got my computers everywhere anyway. So, but yeah, it's funny, and I want to get an iWatch, but I don't. Maybe I don't know. In other words, it knows my movement everywhere I go, what I do, because I have my computers all running at the same time with whatever I do. But it's tracking everything. In fact, I was watching somebody's channel today. And every commercial, because people were talking about food, I got all these food commercials. Like, I was like, I'm getting so hungry. Well,
So
anyways.
they can have that track every movement you do, but they can't put cameras on these lights to track all these streets to make sure that if somebody disappears, you got camera footage to track them from the moment they left their house to the moment they disappeared. And
Well, in where I live in Dayton, Ohio, they have these like lights and they're recording so they can it figures out where the shotgun or the fire guns, like, you know, because we have gangs and shit, so they can cross angulate basically from the sound and find out where the shots came from. That's creepy.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. They're like
but
lights.
they can't, but they don't know where all these missing kids at though. They got all this technology for that, but they don't know where none of these how these kids being transported or none of that. But you sure got all this these drones and got all of this going on.
Oh yeah.
But it's over 500,000 kids missing in America.
Yep.
I'm going to take the initiative to snatch that word back, nosy, because nosy is not a bad thing. Being intrusive is a bad thing, but being nosy is not a bad thing. I give you a prime example. I've seen it before I came on to be able to catch the show, and it was these people, and they was doing it as a skit, but it was so real. Like, pay attention. If you got the Ring camera, pay attention to it. There was a little boy, and he was walking home from school, and it was extremely cold, and a random vehicle pulled up trying to offer him a ride. And so in the skit, the neighbor who was keeping an eye on the Ring camera came out to the door and was like, no, he don't need a ride. And I want to, you know, your mom's phone number or your dad's phone number, and we're going to call this.
I think I saw that. Wasn't that on YouTube?
It was on YouTube or either Instagram. I can't remember.
I think it was. I seen that video. Yeah.
It was from that neighbor being what others would call nosy. Again, I say, I'm in support of individuals being nosy to be able to help. But I'm not a fan of individuals being intrusive. The difference is in being nosy, you're stepping into a situation to help. And being intrusive, you're stepping into a situation in hopes that you do help, but being reckless and making the situation worse. That's not the goal, to make it worse, which would mean more kids would lose more help. The goal is to get more kids more help and to change our community.
Yeah.
I learned that a lot of these structures have a pyramid effect. You have the corporate, you have the actual business, you have the employees. This is with every structure, even down to CPS. CPS has really been lacking in a lot of these states when it comes to these children. They have been lacking horribly. It has become a national problem with CPS. Because with all of these kids that are from different states now going through the same situations, CPS is lacking in a lot of their areas. Because anytime you got a case with a child and CPS been involved more than twice, something is wrong. Something is terribly wrong. And then you study closing the case. And I'm pretty sure when you got this case, you've seen it was other issues. So CPS and DHS, a lot of these government funded companies need to be addressed.
But no, and it's because nobody is pausing to be able to actually assess that there's a problem. The automatic run to more times than not with corporate America and with individuals who feel like they're corporate titans is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And the reality of it is, it's been broken, like you said, for a long time. This woman that we're speaking about tonight just so happened to left 3 children. Another parent probably left 7 children. Another parent probably left 5 children. And those little bit that I just named is probably up now to 200,000 children with people who no longer want to adopt because they can't fiscally handle it because of the rising food costs and so forth and so on. It's a big problem. But it's going to take individuals who, again, are willing to be nosy and willing to step in to make a change. Everybody wants to say that it's not on me. I had a mantra before and I stopped using it. I'm everyone but no one. At the end of the day, what I do to you affects me because you're a part of me, whether it's directly or indirectly. If it don't meet you today, it's probably going to meet you tomorrow, even if it just hits your heart.
Let's get into the show because y'all know we've been talking about these nasty, dirty, trifling, ignorant mamas, momsters, as we call it. There's times I be wanting to say stuff, and God be like, no. And I gotta like pull it back in, because it bothers me to see the way these babies are getting hurt. And just when we were discussing this trash on the left, Miss Kelli, and I was doing more research to find out if there was an update on her, I ran into the trash across the street, Miss Chantel. So we definitely gonna get into her story, but got questions for some of you men. That's who I got questions for. I got questions for some of you men and your ability to choose what's in your best interest. Because how did y'all think it was cool? And I understand we young. Sometimes we young, we do dumb stuff. I get it. If that's, y'all need to choose better. You do. You need to choose better. You got to start thinking about who you want to be the mother of your children. That's what you got to start thinking about. Because these stories are becoming all too common. Every time you turn around, it's another one. And another one. I probably saw 3. I just wouldn't have had time to cover them in this video. But I probably saw about 3 new cases. United States. We're not talking about all over the world. We're talking about here. We have a problem. Our children are in danger. Our children are living with monsters. And for the longest time, we thought monsters were daddy. Because all the stories that were coming out were about daddy and stepdaddy abusing the children and essaying the daughters and da-da-da-da-da. Nobody stopped to pay attention to. Jason Voorhees' mama was the original killer. I know it's a movie, but you get my point. All movies is based off real life in some way, shape, form, or fashion. There's some truth to every movie. Bates, wasn't his mama crazy too? So how is it? Oh, I get it. Because women are supposed to be the nurturers. We're supposed to be the comforters. We're supposed to be the wisdom. We're supposed to be the housekeepers and all of that. So no one takes the time to think about the women being the monsters. You should, because look at what we're dealing with now. All of that mama's baby daddies maybe bullshit that our parents told us, throw that out the window. If you made a seed, you need to call and start checking on them babies. The Bible, we say, warning comes before destruction. All of these stories are y'all warning to find out what's going on in the life of your children before your children end up one of these stories. Because you went to sleep with Dorothy and woke up with the damn Wicked Witch of the West. Okay, let me change the background up. Y'all know how we do. So today we're discussing Chantel Gardner, who's the woman on the top, the baby that the press conference was talking about. Oh no, we got to get into her so you can see it. That was the 10-year-old baby, but we're going to get into this story about baby Skylar, who lost her life because her mother abandoned her in a home and she froze to death. 2 years old. Matter of fact, she had a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old that she left home so that she could go lay up with a nigga. Y'all just so stigmatized out here. Y'all know that whole trend that went viral on social media, what you want to do for the D? We seeing. Because all these women are abandoning their kids to go be with the D. The last monster mom we talked about, she went overseas. Left her infant in the crib. 16 months old. With a few bottles. By herself. This is sad. Where did we lose our womanhood? Where? Was it when Amber Rose started the slut walk? That women decided I'd rather be a slut than to have class? You can be classy without showing your ass. But see, that's not what the media tells you. You can't become Instagram famous if you're not showing your ass. And that's what all the women want now. I can't even say young girls. Because some of the older ones caught up too. That box ain't gonna stay tight forever, ma. Not the way you running through it. Dad only got 9 lives. Some of y'all about 8.5 in. You got to stop and think about how is this going to affect me when I get older. When I'm in my 40s. These are some of the oldest looking damn young people I have ever seen in my life. I was in this place and I was training this lady on this job. And I saw the year she was born. But she says to me, she said, "Are you from here?" And I said, "No." So I told her where I was from. She said, "Oh, I love when I work with young girls from other places because these young girls here don't." I said, "Young? Baby, I am 40 of the 8. What do you mean young?" She was like, "Well, you know, when they're younger than me." So I'm looking at her paperwork. I know I was born 76. And I know when I was in high school, I was pretty damn good at math. She was born in 77. So 77 comes after 76. So that baby would make you younger than me, not older. But baby girl looked about 55, 60. I can't even make it up. Y'all are looking older and older because you're living rough, fast lives. Not only are you suffering, but your children are suffering. You know what it was like with your relationship with your parents. Why would you put your children through the same thing you've been through? Why would you force them to endure the same heartache, the same depression? Some of y'all taking pills now because of your relationship with your parents. We gonna talk about it. Let's talk. Scoot up. Some of y'all smoking morning, noon, and night because of your relationships with mama and daddy. Some of y'all running after old men, young men, any kind of man you can be up under because you're trying to replace the love of a father. Because you never learned how to love the one person that mattered. You. Y'all so scared to be alone. Every time alone comes knocking at the door, you run and snatch something off the street, throw it in your bed. So alone can't find residency there. Alone just means all one. You don't know how to be one with yourself? If you can't be one with you, how you gonna be one with anybody else? How? How you got all this love to give to everybody else, but ain't learn how to give it to you? How you ain't learn how to give it to your star player, in the words of Cat Williams? But you got so much love to share. No, you don't. You shouldn't be sharing love with nobody if you ain't sharing it with your kid. That came out of you. We need to start taking a deeper look into some of these households. Some of these monsters are monsters because we created them that way. And this ain't talking about the streets. This ain't, that's a whole different conversation. We ain't talking about the streets and the gangs. We talking about these dictators in some of these houses that y'all gotta call mama and daddy. That's taking out the hurt and anger and pain on you that they are too coward to inflict on the world, or the individuals that really cause them the pain that they're feeling. They'll never hurt mama and daddy, but they'll abuse you. Somebody who can't fight back. Come on, y'all. These babies in trouble. So we're gonna get into her story. Y'all know this tramp down on the bottom is the one that left them babies in that squalor. Well, I found a video on Facebook where they were actually doing a walkthrough. I know a lot of people had questions about, what the rest of the house looked like. Well, we're going to take a look at this video of them doing this walkthrough of the house. So 1 second. Trash. They must have think about the girls were sleeping out. Because remember they said they were sleeping out. Just trash everywhere. this house was not overrun with rats. I ain't seen a mouse, I ain't seen a centipede, I ain't seen a spider. And them babies had to be here. Can you imagine how it's I'm sure under those boxes is food. But then maybe not, because the mama only periodically bought them food. So can you imagine if they was probably eating molded food? However, and she just own it. Lift it up. Take the pictures all on social media. And strike a post, how bold on social media. Talking about getting done and all of this on social media. It's just food fly on Facebook.
That's side, then honestly.
This is what children were exposed to. Yeah. This is crazy. Drop in the comments and let me know what you think about this story with the babies in the suitcase, baby Amore and Mila. Let me know what you think about the Kelli Bryant situation. Definitely let me know what you think about our fizz and felonies. Thank you for joining me tonight in the Champaign City. Please make sure you do me a favor. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever we jump back into the Champaign City or whichever sector we jump into for another show. Consider supporting the channel. You can hit the Cash App. It is in the description box of every video. You can also thumbs up the video. You can, what is it called? Hit the, what is it, vibe? Hype it. That's it. Hype up the video. You can do a super chat, a super thanks, or, baby, your visit, your view, your watch, you're just sitting with me on tonight has been enough. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for joining us in the Champaign City. And come back now, you hear? Champagne gang, FizzFam, Confidants, and visitors. Always remember, if it doesn't cause you to elevate, baby, it's causing you to depreciate. Now raise those glasses, clink, and let's drink till we meet again. Ta-ta.
Champagne on my tongue, silk on my skin undone. You lean in, say my name like a secret, like a sin. Coconut glow on your collarbone, salt on your lips, I taste home. You say right, let the night decide. I slide in the passenger side. Yeah. Champagne and silk on my lips, dripping slow from every kiss. Power in the sway of my hips. I'm a king, I'm a queen in the mist. Ocean breeze all over this ride, sweet like nectar when we collide. Champagne and silk on my lips. Watch.